So that being said, all of the firsts that have happened this past month have been incredible as well. The first shot of Lewis in front of Enzo Ferrari's house with the red F40, the black pinstripe suit, the black coat, like he looked insane. I was not expecting to see that shot. So I was scrolling and it just like stopped me dead in my tracks. Like it took me a long time for my eyes to kind of adjust to the photo that I was seeing because it's just like, dude, this is the beginning of something historic and iconic. Like he just looks like a boss. Like he really does. Like he just looked incredible. And then of course, Ferrari put out the video of him like going around and saying hi to everybody and shaking hands. And he just looked so comfortable. So yeah, they kicked off their era on an extremely high note. Then we get the shot of Lewis in his race suit for the first time. And that was even more surreal because that's the shot we've been waiting on, obviously, since this entire thing was announced. And to like see him like in it finally just kind of broke my brain. I thought it was another AI rendering. I was like, guys, please wait. We're going to get an official shot at some point. But no, like that was it. Like that was the shot. And he just, I mean, Toto said he could never imagine Lewis in red. And I'm, it's not his color. And I'm like, I don't know who told you that because Lewis looks pretty amazing in red, to be quite honest. That suit looks insane on him. It looks like it belonged on him this whole time. Like, again, just like effortlessly just fits in with the brands, with the colors, with the vibe, like everything. That shot was so good. And then seeing him at F175 for the livery reveal was insane. Like the whole O2 arena just went absolutely bonkers. When he and Charles and Fred all walked out to show off the car, you could just see like Lewis just looked so at ease and like happy and just, oh my God, like just like even thinking about it, I'm just like, this whole like month has been so energetic and so fun. To see the like shift in Lewis's like whole demeanor. Like I keep thinking about how like in all of the shots, he just looks so young, right? At the age of 40, he seems like 10 years has been taken off of his life. Now that he's at Ferrari. And again, we're at this point in the timeline, we're still like less than a month in. Like he just has looked happy from go. So, yeah, the livery reveal just kind of wet my whistle, wet my palate for the season. Cause seeing the new livery and the race suits and everybody together, I'm like, okay, now it's official. It's getting real. We also saw him at Fiorano. My Italian accent. For those first laps in the SF23, the one where he was so happy, the like little woo that he let out when he was driving just let me know. It's like, this guy is really enjoying being in a Ferrari. He mentions it in the article as well, just like how the engine feels different, the car feels different. And it just like, I think exceeded his expectations, but you could really hear him like over the radio doing the tests that like, he just was having a blast. And we haven't heard him that happy in a long time to drive a car. So I just feel like the fact that it's like, an old Ferrari that he's having the time of his life driving says a lot. So that was really good. And then you also had the tire test with the SF24. Again, just like, man's just happy to be there. Like simply put, like he is just so happy to be there. To be in these cars and to be at Ferrari, I think like it's cool seeing it all kind of come together. I feel like as surreal as it is for us as the viewer, it's probably even more surreal for him because he's actually experiencing it. But yeah, and then obviously we have Bahrain, which I'll talk about in a second. But like, what about you guys? Like, do you have any moments so far that have been like your favorite or like your most like cherished? If I had to pick a favorite, I do think it has to be him in the red suit because it's just like, this is what we came for. Like now that he's in it, I just feel like it's signed, sealed, delivered, like no take backsies. He is a Ferrari driver. So yeah, that was, I think, my favorite like moment so far. Followed closely by those first laps where he just sounded so ecstatic to be driving the car finally. And then we had something just yesterday, which was the Ferrari drivers presentation. They essentially shut down Milan so that Charles and Lewis could drive around like a kind of makeshift track and just show off again some older cars. This time we were in the SF21. The engine sounded so good, by the way. But yeah, we got to kind of see them like do some like cute little test runs and wave to the crowd. The crowd was massive. And it was just like, again, another interesting event where you see like just the full energy like behind Ferrari, not just the team, the drivers, but like the fans themselves are just, everybody's just so excited, like buzzing almost. And I just feel like there's like a lot of activity. We're being really spoiled. We got donuts from Lewis, donuts from Charles. Then we got double donuts. That was cute. Charles came out of nowhere during one of Lewis's laps. So we saw them together, driving together for the first time. That was interesting. And Lewis, like an overtake. I mean, I don't know. Like, it was just like kind of cute. The audio issues during the interviews was a little bit annoying because you didn't really get to hear that well. Like Fred, you didn't really get to hear Lewis that well. Charles was okay. I think he kind of went on before all of the technical difficulties, but I'm sure they said lovely things. And Lewis was speaking Italian. That was cute. Except for at the end when they did the Italian national anthem and Lewis didn't fully know it or know it at all. It's like he spent all his time like learning conversational phrases and forgot about like, you know, the fact that when he wins, he's going to have to be up there singing the national anthem. So then they had like a little like parade moment. And then like the group chat was crazy. Like Lewis and Charles getting into this like drop top Ferrari and they were both all caked up. Like that had the group chat going for a second. The girls are feral. Okay. That was like a fun like moment. And it's also just in general nice to see Charles and Lewis kind of getting on so well. They got on well even before this. And I don't know if that's just because they knew they would be teammates for a while or what, but you know, they have a really good like kind of relationship. They're playing chess all the time. They're playing chess at the F175 event. So yeah, it was like a fun like moment. It's just nice seeing them get on, especially after our last teammate. Yeah. Anyway. And I think once we got to the Italian national anthem, the social battery was depleted. This has been a month long, like all gas, like, you know, full out marketing campaign, photo shoots, video shoots, testing, more testing, you know, fittings, dinners. Like, I feel like, you know, if it was me, my social battery would be empty. So I know his is quite depleted. He's having to like speak 2 languages now. He's learning all these new people, names, faces, you know, like there's a lot going on. So I do hope he's sleeping well because after this is just now we're back into the season. So yeah, it's been nice. Like Ferrari is spoiling us. You know what I'm saying? Like they are like sparing no expense. Like no stone has gone unturned in like this launching of Lewis Ferrari. And like really, I keep talking about just Lewis, but really the whole team. Like I do remember Ferrari, John, I think specifically talking about, you know, Ferrari, we got to change our ways. You know, we can't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. So he was very open to shaking shit up. And I think that's where Fred came in. You know, he obviously has so many ideas and he's implemented a lot of them, a lot of chess moves. Lewis was a big one because Lewis is Lewis, number one, but Lewis brings a lot of talent or a lot of interest with him. So you have engineers and different people in different positions wanting to come to Ferrari to help rebuild the team. So this is like, obviously it's a big deal that Lewis is there, but in general, Ferrari's grand plan, grand scheme for world domination requires a lot. And so Lewis is just one kind of piece of that puzzle. But you can really just see like the energy at Ferrari. Everybody has like this belief about them, I will say. I haven't followed Ferrari very closely in the previous years. Obviously, as a Lewis fan, I was more interested in what, Mercedes had going on. But, you see it. Like, I think after almost every race, people were putting up clown emojis. Like, they were botching pit stops. Like, strategy was a mess. Cars were, DNFing left and right. Like, I remember a couple seasons back with Charles just like, God, what have I done to you type looks on his face. Like, he just looked so over it. And, so it definitely needed to happen. This revamp needed to happen at Ferrari. And obviously, it's just everything aligning at the right time. Ferrari's had a huge drought of wins, as a constructor and driver. Lewis has had a drought of driver championships. So it's like, if everybody's kind of like on the same page here, let's proceed, let's win these championships. And so, yeah, like for me, seeing these like events happening just means that the team feels really confident. And I will say, like, to kind of like summarize maybe this section of the video, is that like this really fully highlights that you should absolutely only go where you're wanted. Mercedes probably felt like a forever type of situation. And I could see why. They've won so many, championships together. They've been through so much together. But just because you've been somewhere for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that, that's where you have to stay. And even though you're trying something new and doing something new with your life, and especially at the age of 40, like you should give it, absolutely give it your all and go for it. And so that's just, for me, I'm just like, there's a lesson in this. There's a ministry in this. And it really is like, number one, your life's not over at a certain age. If you still feel like you want to go for something, go for something. And don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. But again, go where you're wanted. And I think that goes a long way because of the fact that like it just energizes you so much. Other people's energy either feeds into you or it siphons off of you. And I do feel like at a certain point, Mercedes just was kind of siphoning his energy. And again, you see it, like comparing photos from last season and just the first month at Ferrari is like night and day. For me, I just feel like, one, I'm happy he's happy. I think I keep saying this, but like his energy has shifted so tremendously, and we're barely, 40 days with this team. So his energy shift has been so massive, and his like demeanor has been so positive, and he's been so happy. And I just feel like as a fan, just to see that change has been like really incredible to see. Because I want to see him at his best. I don't want to see depressed Lewis. Nobody wants to see depressed Lewis. And I will say it's actually kind of crazy to think too, like how well he was wearing it, because like the past like few years on the track has been a nightmare, but he still has been doing stuff. He still has like his fashion stuff. He still has his philanthropy. He's, working on this movie. He's doing a lot of stuff. He still has his, skydiving and all his, extracurriculars when he's not driving. What else? Like so many things. And so even when he was losing on track, he still was winning. You know what I mean? So that said, the night and day kind of shift is like still kind of like taking me back a little bit. I'm like, damn, was it that bad? Yeah, it's amazing what being in a new environment will do for you. Seeing kind of the relationship at Mercedes wane, I felt was like a little bit heartbreaking because, Lewis, I think thought that would be it. He would end his career there. That's all his family. They've been through so much together. So I think seeing that just kind of like fizzle out the way that it did, I think was hurtful. He says, no hard feelings, but I mean, I don't know. I've had hard feelings for less, if you know what I'm saying. So I just feel like it's just like a lot to deal with, and he's only one person. And I think, him being so open about like his mental health and how he deals with everything just lets you kind of in on this like more human side of him, even though he's great at his job. At the end of the day, it's a job, right? he's still a person. So it is interesting hearing how he's had to kind of navigate his feelings pretty much by himself. I mean, no matter what other people are around him, he still has to be the one that processes things and makes these decisions. So yeah, he's kind of, a one man show when it comes to that. So yeah, having to process and deal with all of these things seems like it's been a lot. But on the flip side, seeing how welcoming Ferrari has been, how excited that they have been to have him, has been very much like a breath of fresh air. No matter what happens, I feel like in this season, right? Because no matter what, like this is a transitional season. I have high hopes, but at the end of the day, like everybody's just getting to know each other. Everything's, meshing, like let it breathe, let it marinate a little bit. And yes, of course, we're going to have to wait and see what the season has in store. But I just feel like even if like we just have a super basic season, like where nothing disastrous happens, nothing amazing happens, I still feel like it will be miles better than what we've had to experience in the past, like 3 seasons alone, just because he's in a better place mentally, which means that we can springboard off of that in future seasons for, more success, more joy. So yeah, that's how I would kind of end cap that. Go where you're wanted, because it definitely goes a long, long way. I feel like they're really like giving him some like wind in his sails right now. Oh, and speaking of that, I do want to shout out specifically the Tifosi, because the other narrative from last season was like nobody in the Tifosi wants Lewis here. No one at Ferrari wants Lewis here. And let me just tell you, seeing the crowd, the line of people that showed up to see Lewis drive these older Ferraris, to see him do his very first laps, has been insane. The support has been insane. The Tifosi, the energy is energying. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's like palpable, right? Like I almost can like feel it through the screen. There was a lady, I think it was a lady. She cut down a tree at the track, y'all. Like she was like, we need an unobstructed view of Lewis's first laps. Like this tree will grow back. Okay. But these laps, Lewis's first laps, we can't redo those. I was like, I fuck with that. Like, you're so real for that. Like, yeah, cut that tree down, girl, so everybody can see. And then yesterday in Milan at the presentation, there was Tifosi like in the trees as well. And I'm just like, bro, I know a tree in Italy hate to see the Tifosi coming, because y'all are crazy. Y'all do anything to them damn trees. But yeah, shout out. Like people were like, oh, this is our house. He's gonna have to come through us. John basically cut him a key, babe. Like he's good. You know what I mean? He does not need your permission to be accepted. It seems like the Tifosi have that covered. Thank you very much. F1 Twitter is surprisingly not the end all be all of Formula One community. So the other shout out is to the cinematographers and the editors and the social media team at Ferrari. They were starting to get really good when even Carlos was there, like maybe a couple years ago, like 2022, 2023 season. Things were starting to get a little like interesting. So, like it was really cinematic, you know? But like, have they hired somebody who is like going for an Oscar or like what? Like, I don't know. Like the documentarian style of everything is like, again, energetic. Like, I think that's just kind of like the reoccurring theme. High energy, very passionate, full throttle. Like that's just what it feels like when you look at it. Everything just looks fast. Everything looks like, stable. Everything just, I don't know. It just looks so amazing. But like they're shooting at different angles. I'm seeing like Dutch angles and like bird's eye and like, you can tell they're kind of tapping into like Italian cinema. You're getting like these really cool like push-in shots and like these cool zooms and the font on the screen, the text. Oh my God. Like if you're a movie nerd, cinema nerd, what Ferrari is doing on their social media is like just chef's kiss. After or like during the presentation video on YouTube, Ferrari premiered like some, I don't know, kind of like trailer. I don't know, like a team appreciation, fan appreciation, sort of like the theme was like Forza Ferrari. And yeah, like just getting the sense of like how passionate every single person is in Maranello about this team. I felt like I was going to run through a brick wall after I watched that. I was so hype. The Forza Ferrari was like coursing through my veins. I was like, yes, give me my flare. I'm ready to be at the track. I'm about to throw up some red smoke. Like, oh my God, great video. So, yeah, everybody like on every level is just showing up and showing out. Like, not to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just like, this can't all be for nothing, right? Like, there's no championship for best social media, although there should be, and Ferrari would be winning by a long, long way. But I'm just like, they know something. They have to know something because who markets a season this damn good? And then we get a bum ass car. You know what I mean? Like that would just be nuts. That would just be crazy. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. And I'm just like, this can't be for nothing. This can't be for nothing. And at the same time, if this is all we have at the end of the season, then I did leave here with something. But yeah. Thank you so much for tuning into Supersoft Radio. If you enjoyed that segment, you can find the full episode in my full episode playlist. And if you enjoyed this, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you around for future uploads and be part of the community. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.